Hey guys, it's the Vicarious Outdoorsman here. I kind of decided impromptu this week that come Friday night I was going to do a solo overnighter with minimal gear. So I just got home from work, grabbed my gear, and I'm heading out the door. Not taking any food or water with me on this trip. It's just going to be a quick hike in. I'm actually going to be doing some scouting for deer season, try and forage some stuff. Make a simple camp and do an overnighter, solo overnighter with minimal gear. I wanted to check out, I've checked it a few times this spring, but I think it's finally warm enough. I have a chanterelle patch on my property, and it looks like they're just starting to pop up. So let me show you. Looks like I got some right there, right there in that patch of grass. So that's kind of cool. I'm not taking any food or water with me on this one. I'm not going to harvest these guys. These are right on my property. I want them to come in really good and full. When I found them last year, it was a huge patch. So I'm not going to pick these, but I'm going to keep my eyes open. This lets me know that the chanterelles are starting to pop up. So as I head out, maybe we'll find some mature chanterelles. So anyways, and I'm still in my backyard, but I'm going to head in and we'll see what happens. Well, I'm barely into my hike, and I've already found what could be a substantial dinner. I'm probably not going to take advantage of it. But just saw this guy hiking in. I don't really want to do a catch and cook forest turtle. I'm like a minute into my hike, so I don't know what's around the corner. Survival situation, you just scored like a good meal. I don't really want to kill this turtle and eat him. I'm gonna keep going and see what else I find, but I mean, 2 minutes into hiking and I've already found what I could forage a full meal off of, but I'm gonna keep going. So I wanted to show you how thick where I'm hiking is. Very jungle-like. Easy to get hung up. No easy way to get where I want to go. I'm definitely, I mean, it's 90 degrees out, and I'm definitely probably going too hard because I'm sweating, but also like I've only got I think an hour and a half before sunset, and I'm not even close to my camp yet. So anyways, there's that, which is fun. Grief. That stuff right there is thick. Well, it's a little more open right here. And I'm getting closer to this being a south-facing hillside. So, I need to keep my eyes peeled. Something walking in the woods. Oh, squirrel on the trees. I need to keep my eyes peeled for those mushrooms. A lot more open right here. Something's been walking right here. Deer will often take the path of least resistance. Ground is kind of scuffed. My trajectory is that way. There's kind of a saddle in this ridge, so I want to hit that saddle. That's what I'm scouting for deer. And then I'm gonna go down on the back side of the ridge. I have to if I'm gonna get any water. I'll keep you updated, guy. Looks like a little den for something. Man, I like the way the woods are through here. A lot more open. Made it to the saddle I wanted to check out, and it definitely has some clearing on it, which is kind of cool. I've never been here before. I want to check it out. Looks very open up there. In my mind, it's very promising for deer season. Cool. Ooh, got some berry patches, I think. Oh, awesome. Yeah, look at that. Some blackberries. I won't be going hungry tonight after all. Right on. Let's check this place out. Oh yeah, lots of berries. Look at this. Look at this. A lot of those are still red, but right here, down low. Ouch. Look at that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Those two probably aren't ripe. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Oh, sweet. 18, 19, 20. That didn't take me very long at all. That's the benefit of summertime. Mosquitoes are not awesome. A handful of berries. Here's the mother load. Look at, they're all red, but look at them. Come back here in a week or two. Look at all that. Not a small patch. Two, 3, 4, 5. Not a small patch at all. So this tree, these big, long, spindly branches and those puffy flowers, that's mimosa. That's super prevalent here. I'm going to collect some of those blossoms. I took some of the blackberry leaves. I'm going to make a tea out of that. Also, they call mimosa happy tree because you can take the virgin bark from shoots and young leaves, and you can make a tea, and it's supposed to be very mood enhancing. It's supposed to increase happiness, help with depression or whatever. So I gotta figure out how do I get through the briars. I think that's my best bet. Backtrack a little bit. I gotta round all the briars. I'm gonna collect some of this mimosa. I got a buddy named Pete who does a lot of wild fermentation and homebrew stuff, and he makes mimosa kombucha and secondary ferment home brew using mimosa as well. So I'm going to save these blossoms along with these leaves. There's some bark. I'm just going to save the whole bunch. Make a tea out of this. Alright, well, this is the saddle. It's cool. Now I'm going to dip back down on the back side of the saddle. I think there's a plateau down there where I'm going to camp. It's a lot easier going downhill than it is going uphill. That was a free and easy bit of lichen. I'm going to put that in my pocket. Actually, this is not very appetizing dry. I like to at least add it to something or boil it first, but most lichens are edible. This one's just chilling out on the floor, on the forest floor. So it sucks all the moisture out of your mouth. I'm going to cram it in there like it was a piece of chewing tobacco. I'm going to work it before I swallow it. I know a couple miles that way there's a bunch of boulders, and if that topography stays true over here, I might be able to find some rock tripe, which I'll collect and boil and eat. But if you can find big pieces of lichen like that, you can eat them. I think it's mostly carbohydrate. I'd rather have that than a totally empty belly. Well, here's my answer to the question of the boulder terrain. Yes, looks like it. Looks like the boulders are over here too. Can't tell if I hear water or not. It's supposed to be a creek at the bottom of this valley. No critters living there. A lot of moss. I don't see any rock tripe. Oh, looks like there's a big clearing over here. Let's go check it out. I don't know if this has been cleared by people or not. What am I looking at? Is this a swamp or a man-made clearing? I can't tell. Just looks like an old logging operation. Alright, let's go see if the creek is still there. Okay, so there's the clearing that I discovered, and around right there, those big rocks I saw right there, that's where the big rocks I saw are. And I crossed this clearing, looks like an old logging clearing, and then I ended up making my way across it, and behind me there's a little creek. Really small. I haven't seen any decent sized fish, but some decent little chub. I'm gonna string up my hammock because this is a nice shaded little spot. I think I'll spend the night here, kind of out in the open near the creek, so I have water. The openness is going to let me hear stuff, which would be kind of cool. I'm in the valley, so I was going to get water and then hike back up the hill and camp. This is a pretty cool little spot. I want to try and catch some fish tonight. I might just set up the hammock first. Cool. So I've got my hammock set up. I'm gonna make a little fire right here. So I'm gonna start gathering fire making stuff. Magnesium. I don't need the magnesium, but I'm gonna go ahead and throw a little bit out on there. The nooks and crannies. Those shavings ignite at 5,400 degrees Fahrenheit. I think a lot of them are falling down, but whatever. That took a long time. Good grief. Good to have your materials ready. Not quite with that one. When that feather stick finally caught, it really went pretty easily, but man, getting to that point was a pain in the butt. There we go. Cool. Got my fire going. I need to find I have a Y stick, but I need one that's a little taller so I can prop up my my water pot stick. Well, I made a fire. I've got water on. I'm gonna go ahead and put my blackberry leaves and my mimosa. Go ahead and make a tea. Alright, so I boiled up my tea. I put the greens back on the fire, make some smoke. I'm going to pour the tea into the water bottle, put the water bottle in the creek and get it cooling. There's a couple little creek chub in here. A couple little minnows. Well, I figured I'd take the flashlight to the creek and see what I could find. I saw a frog and I caught a little creek chub. Aww. Ooh, that water's hot. Here comes the guts. Cool. Sorry, the flashlight was in my mouth. I'm gonna go ahead and smoke that little fish. Alright, I've got my smoked fish. I'm going to see about eating it. Tastes like a mushy cracker. Didn't taste meaty, just tastes kind of like a wet saltine. Better than nothing. I think I'm gonna drink my tea. Water bottle in the creek, cooling off. I think I'll do a little fireside carving and then turn in for the night. Get some rest, get up early, and see if I can't scrounge up a couple critters for breakfast. Clean up camp and probably head back to the house. I'm looking forward to sleeping under the stars. I slept okay. It was a pretty quiet night. At some point, I got woken up because I heard something walking by the creek. When I woke up, it stopped. And then, when I moved my foot, after about 30 seconds, it was a deer, maybe 15 feet away. It ran off and I could hear it blowing at me, doing its alarm wheeze where it goes, and it ran away, and I kept hearing it as it ran up the hillside. Other than that, it was a quiet night. Heard a few owls. That was about it. I think I'm going to get up and put my shoes on. So last night when I was getting ready for bed, I'd cut a stick. I said I was going to do a little carving, and I did. I carved me a little Groot head. I am Groot. I think I'm going to break down camp and pack everything up and kind of navigate back home, but a different route, and just kind of look for some wild edibles on the way. I'll pick some more berries if I come across some more blackberries. Last night I found a little bit of plantain. It was like fully mature. It had flowered. Super tough. I had to just chew it and chew it and chew it and chew it. Hopefully I can find some younger, more tender plantain or dandelion greens, wild violet. But I'm kind of going to forage on my trek back home and break down camp right now. Well, I had a good night's sleep. Took my hammock down, put out my fire, packed up my gear, and I'm gonna take a different route home, but forge my way home. Thanks for joining me so far. I'm saying goodbye to my valley. Heading back into the woods. There's a game trail right here. At least something has used it. This stuff is yucky. I do not like it. This stuff is yucky. There was an old logging road that I could have taken. Beginning to think, while less adventurous, it may have been the better option. These things suck. Okay. That was brutal. I see some berries. Get a little breakfast in me. Those two are probably not ripe. That was good. Got a little trail here. There we go. So this right here is pokeweed. This is fairly mature because it's already flowered and gone to seed. But when you get these, it's got a red stalk and it's hollow. Or like kind of pulpy in the center. When you get those when they're really young, like that one right there, even a little bit smaller than that, you can boil it, drain the water off, boil it again, test it. If it's still super bitter, boil it again. But it's pokeweed is pretty common. You'll see it as a pioneer species, like so when they do clear cutting. Pokeweed is usually one of the things that doesn't mind the gnarly conditions and will pioneer an area. But it's all over Alabama. In fact, I think there's a town that has a poke festival. I think one of my trade contractors was telling me about that, where they celebrate pokeweed. Alright, now I'm in the woods away from the briars. It's a lot better. I'm gonna keep my eye out for snails, snakes, mushrooms. Well, made it to the top of the ridge again, and it's a different saddle. I've seen a lot of empty snail shells and some green hickory nuts, but I picked a few berries, haven't seen any mushrooms yet. Now I'm gonna start my descent down the other side of the ridge, back into the other valley, into my backyard. Getting down to the thick stuff again. I'm going to do a major tick check when I get back home. That might be a little trail right there. I think it goes like that, right there. So you know you're getting closer to where people used to live, because there's a random barbed wire fence going through the woods right here. And I crossed over it and I found this guy, this mushroom growing out of this old stump. And there's a little slug hanging out on top. Enjoying that mushroom, I guess. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. And I am in the thick of it now. Well, I made it back to familiar ground. There's a clearing right there, which is my neighbor's property. It also means that there's a path up here. There she is. Well guys, thanks for joining me. Just a quick little overnighter. I boiled and drank 2 pots of water. That's actually not true because I spilled half of one. I ate probably a dozen handfuls blackberries. I ate 1 creek chub, parboiled and smoked over the fire. Sleeping in a hammock is fine, but you probably want a pillow to be more comfortable. I was actually really surprised at how well the fire kind of smoldered all night, and I think did a good job keeping mosquitoes away. So, quick little overnighter. There's more to come. Thanks for watching.